progress.
Thank you for being here. That's right. Well, test, it's working with it, then it's. Getting off here, I don't need line up here. It's been a while. Hey, this has been what? Oh, Charles. It wasn't even this kind of state. Nice. I don't want nice. And you got all right. Well, if you go to the look after me, or
It's there, you just can't reach it.
it is.
Yeah, it's under the chair.
I'm trying to raise it up and shine it.
Yeah.
Good, tell you, Johnny. How many have? If topics. They were kind of, they're not really one.
I never tried. I like it too short to make it better.
Sure you work mostly just right around here, you're all, how that's that here, that's here, stuff. For rain, parade, testers, power. Do you do any, is there a roll call or just you guys do a roll too?
We got some.
You got something there.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is it? Oh, there. No, I was looking.
That makes sense.
Yeah, right. So,
No, not gonna change. I think it's too late to go over and change. We can, but I think it's never too late. Yeah, there's a certain time when you can't change one party for a minute. Oh,
yeah.
that's true. That's true.
All right, the meeting of the regular council for the city of Ellsworth from Monday to June 13th will begin. Let's please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, I want to introduce everybody to the interim city administrator, John Deerdoff. If you don't know him, before we get started, I want to introduce everybody. It's okay. I can basically handle the echo. That's fine. So we'll get started with the consent agenda. Two items. It's the June 2022 Airport Advisory Board minutes approval and claim ordinance AIR. It's the agenda item for the AIR-22-072.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion, we approve their consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Mr. Rivera has made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Scritchfield has seconded that motion. That's the June 2022 Airport Advisory Board minutes, and then the claim ordinance A01-0522. Any discussion? Any questions about anything? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda has been approved. Moving on, petitions and delegations. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak to us for 5 minutes. If we have any other questions, we'll go ahead and ask them at the end. If we don't, just please have a seat. We thank you for coming and sharing your concerns and what you're interested in. Is there anybody who would like to stand? Go ahead.
I want to thank our city, street department. They came out and I talked to him and he came out and made my street fantastic, I think. And then he came out with a bigger machine and filled in Yellowneck Drive. Yellowneck Drive is not full of potholes then. So I think they did a fantastic job. He comes out probably once every 2 weeks and checks on the street, which is, I think is good. But I drove by today and the houses are still standing.
Okay, the houses that were supposed to be demolished?
Yes.
Okay, I'll check in on that, so. Anyone else? Additions and delegations? Oh, Ms. Miller, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, very, this is happy good, so.
You know, our city attorney hat. It's, the Horse Rider Foundation is a community foundation here in Ellsworth. The guys in my office are trustees. So I get to present you with a check for $10,000 to the city of Ellsworth. This is from, I think, their annual distribution, so.
Thank,
That's very well.
yeah, we just only will have to discuss what to do with those proceeds and what we've done in the past, and appreciate that, thank you. That's a nice surprise tonight, so. Anyone else, petitions and delegations, come on up. And one thing we do is we state whether we're a city resident or not, I forgot to mention it.
Okay, I'm a city resident. I'm asking permission to sell fireworks out of my shed again this year. We've done it in previous years. We have permission by all of our neighbors. We have good traffic flow and done it for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
So do we vote on it, or what do we need to do?
Should we run it now or business? Doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters.
We just do it.
We can do it.
We do have, I had one other person come and talk to me about that. I think that would be on the next agenda to approve those, or is it just
The big,
the,
the ones that get sent in like the POW.
yeah.
Those will be on the next agenda to get it, what you can approve these, they come slow.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the Furlands to sell fireworks out of their shed.
One second.
All right.
Here.
Ms. Countess, made the motion to approve the sale of fireworks on, what was your last name? Pearl and Shed. Ms. Hanson seconded that motion. Any discussion?
We get an address.
512 Web Street.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Make it go and sell fireworks, so we'll be seeing you. All right, very good. Any other petitions and delegations? Any public comment? Everybody's had a chance. All right, Mr. Hobbywalks, the Kirk of Michael update.
Good evening.
Hey.
Sounds from the wrong spot for the flag hour. So we got update on projects that Kirk and Michael's working on. To talk to Mr. Deardoff further today to get him up to speed since he's just coming into town. And to get him briefed on what's going on. So the next project coming to bid, I'm gonna start with that one. That's the turn lane improvement project. Up here at the K140, K156 intersection. I say coming up to bid, I actually did bid it once before, as it'd be KDOT is bidding the project. And somebody on the council back there recalled, bids came in globally high. We came in and modified the design by removing the overlay portion of the roadway. So the widening the existing Highway 156 to put in dedicated left turn lanes and then restriping. So instead of overlaying to obliterate the stripe, we're just gonna have a contractor grind the old stripe off and then put the new striping on. Anyhow, that project is gonna be Wednesday through KDOT. Typically, by Thursday morning, they will post the ad bids from the contractors. So depending on their timing, they will send a notice to the city with those bids, asking if the city wants to award it. If they don't have it by the 27th meeting, I'll provide that to the city, just let you know, here's what the total bids were. I don't have details from KDOT yet at that point. But that bid will occur on Wednesday afternoon. The neighborhood multi-use path that goes from the River Bridge south to Good Sam. We're working on finalizing the plans. Our design engineers are reviewing for submittal to KDOT and is planning to have those we call 95% plans, office check plans, and Wayne would remember submitted by the end of the week this week. KDOT has scheduled the project to bid in October. Being that we haven't gotten any utilities relocated yet, I don't know that that bid letting is gonna hold, because they usually want utilities either moved or committed to move 4 months in advance of letting. Which is coming up here just pretty much right now. And one of those is AT&T. They take forever to move anything. Vibe is another one that's got utility stuff in the way. I have not even been able to contact the utility department. I finally got a hold of the sales rep. Emailed him the stuff, and he said he would get it to them, and I've not heard a response from them for 2 weeks, so I need to get back to that person as well.
I might want to get you a contact.
Okay.
We've dealt with them very recently.
That would be helpful. Nobody seems to know how to get a hold of them. For relocating, they'll sell you stuff. I don't know, salespeople all over the place, but then they're like, you want, like, I don't want to buy it, I want you to move your stuff. I don't know about that. So working on the utility stuff, that's in getting the plans turned in. As far as we needed 2 easements on there, we've had one secured easement for quite a while. The second person was dealing with a family health issue. They've been away from the phone for quite a while. That person did return the agreement. They didn't return the donation form. They said they would get that to us, and we're almost there on the easement. Moving forward. The spring cost share project to improve multiple sidewalks. If you recall, we received one bid that was well over the engineer's estimate, and the council rejected that bid. I've been out the last week, so I haven't had a chance to reach out to many contractors at this point. But the main concern for contractors is timing. They wanted the project to get started this summer, everybody's full through summer. I've heard that if we rebid it, maybe in the early fall for winter or next year's construction, that would be more appealing to contractors, because they said we're just booked through the summer. So that's their main deal there. I had contacted KDOT by the funding agreement with KDOT. This is a reimbursement program. The city was to bid the project within 6 months of the date that was in the application. We put May as a bid date, so you had technically till November of this year. But I went ahead and reached out to KDOT, said, could the city get a 6-month extension on that, just to give us additional time to talk to contractors, and knowing that the city administrator positions in transition. They said that'd be no problem, if they need to get a letter from the city on the letterhead asking that, in the time that Mr. Darrow about getting it done. So not that we necessarily need that much time, but that just gives us ample time, additional time. The C-clip resurfacing job on Douglas, again, that's proposed to bid next spring. We're not working on that project currently, there's other things going forward. The spring cost share applications, we had assisted the city with submitting again to get funding for the O'Donnell Drive extension up there north of K-140. That project was not selected for funding by KDOT and the cost share. So that'll be a discussion that the city would like to try to apply again this coming fall. Apply for something different, not apply for anything. We can discuss that. We will have a full-time administrator on board at that time, and budget for the next year in place, and know where you're headed. Next item in, Kirk and Michael has been contracted with the city. Rusty had mentioned this before this last meeting, to complete a feasibility study for providing gravity sanitary sewer to the proposed Rolling Hills electric facility, as well as 3 residences that are on private septic systems. That requires some preliminary survey to get some elevation shots of manholes. We can, and locations of their septic systems, we can estimate or calculate if we could get gravity flow. We got most of the survey completed last week. There's 3 locations that the city crew needs to excavate for us to get to. So we're hoping to get that accomplished this week. So we get depth elevation on those manholes and get forward, moving forward with the study and the report. So the intent is to have the report, at least preliminary report, in July. One other item Rusty had asked me about before he departed. This US DOT Safe Streets for All program, potentially for the 3rd Street project, where the city's discussing trying to improve Third Street from Douglas east to Blake or somewhere in that region. This is a bipartisan infrastructure legislation program, it's a new federal grant program. I've done a little bit of research on it. I've signed up for a webinar that I think is this week. That the Federal Highway is doing to try to learn about the program more. First glance, I'm skeptical if this program really fit, because it's really about a safety enhancement for where you got traffic, a lot of traffic, pedestrian interaction. And Third Street is busy for Elbert, but it's not a hugely busy street. There's not a ton of pedestrians crossing the street. So it might be a long stretch, but I'll investigate the program some more. And if I feel like it's a worthy cause, knowing the federal program, it's gonna have some cost to it to even apply. So I'll come back to the city and say, here's what we think is the applicability of the program, here's what we think it would cost. And propose about doing an application. And we'll try to guesstimate the odds of actually getting funding, and then the council can decide if cost of benefits seem worth going after it or not. It is a brand new program. Like I said, just to come out of this federal highway bill. They're taking applications this year, but they'll, I believe, the next 4 years take applications as well. So it doesn't have to happen this year with CERF either. The final item then was to we'll talk about revisit the detention basins. Since the last meeting where I talked about this, I presented a proposal from another company to do a study. We'll split the cost with the city. Was asked to discuss with the contractor and KDOT. If they would be willing to come to the meeting and discuss it further, if the contractor would be willing to share that cost. We take the line on both of these. See, there's nobody here with me from the contractor KDOT to discuss the project. What I'd like to present tonight, be given more thoughts since then. So other than the basin right after the bottom, going towards Douglas, there's a kind of a shelf, if you will, flat area that's also holding water. I would like to, essentially what we were looking at doing is installing drain tile or perforated plastic pipe to for drainage. Acquire some of that pipe, and if the city would be willing to assist with labor and equipment, install it on that shelf area, it's quite a bit higher than the basin floor, and do a trial run with some drain tile and gravel to drain that area first and see how it works. So proposing that if Kirk and Michael would be willing to, as good partners, purchase the materials, if the city would help with equipment and labor to install the pipe and the gravel. We're probably talking about 500 feet or so of material. I think the digger trench would be a few hours of work with a backhoe or excavator. It'd go pretty fast.
They get it, is it too wet to get in there right now, or?
No, I'm talking about, yeah, it's on the shelf, probably 10-foot
Shelf where we didn't take the rock out, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, so there's several feet of on top of the rock. We had to put a pipe in there. And there's standing water. It's really where the water's standing is where the tire ruts of the tractor when they try to plant grass.
Right.
Where they didn't rut it, it's dry.
Right.
So we almost have half a trench dug from the tire ruts. So to
Right.
speak.
Yeah, probably need to address that first, and I've got some questions too.
So the plan would be to try that, see how it works, and then maybe use that same concept on
In the basin itself. So when I showed Mr. Darrell some photos from back in May, when we had a hot stretch and been dry for a while, it's detention basin, even the bottom, it dried out pretty considerably at that time. We haven't got in the hot, dry months of summer, assuming there's gonna be some this year. It's kind of month of June to start off very wet, so we don't know. But it's hot today, it's gonna be hot this week. I'm optimistic that thing will dry out. Probably not 100%, but I think quite a bit of it's gonna dry out. Would at least allow access to equipment to get in there, cut a trench, whether it be by a trenching machine or an excavator. And could allow us to install some piping for the drainage.
I don't think that's a problem at all. I mean, does anybody have a problem with it? I think that, could avoid, it may not work, but. For
Pretty low risk area, in my opinion. It's up high, it's gonna drain down the hill.
Sure.
I don't see a reason why it wouldn't work in there, but we could try it.
Yeah, I know that.
Was that trench, would that trench be?
Be no more than 3 feet. Yeah, there's no utilities along there.
Yeah, okay.
You coordinate it all, supervise everything, and call our guys, and when they're available, and
Yeah, we have the materials available, it's stuff we could get at Home Depot, I'm looking right up on the web, they have days, they have touch,
Okay,
pick it up, bring it back here and have it ready to go.
I did notice that has some glass on the north retention basin. That big wash, or that wash down, is that gonna be a problem on that, unless it's like that one where there's all the dirt, it's now a big.
It was, and I'm not exactly involved in that, city's up to repairing the washout.
Okay.
And my understanding is the city crew constructing a berm to divert the water.
Okay.
West to the highway ditch, and they coordinated that with KDOT, that's my understanding. So it was a problem, but it's being addressed.
I just was asking, I had some glass, I'm just curious.
so John, do we need council approval for that? We're talking local, we can just go ahead and give the green light.
If you just direct me to work with Delvin and.
Does anybody have a problem?
What's it gonna cost? Like, well,
Well, the materials, we
Buy all the material?
would buy the materials for
I think we're disappointed.
it. I'm just asking labor and equipment.
It is standalone material, but yeah, we would just provide labor, and I haven't talked to them.
what would you think it'd take for labor?
You thought a day,
Oh, couple hours. Oh.
What do you say today?
Yeah.
so time to make it out, you put the fabric down, you put the pipe down, dump the gravel and route the fabric over, backfill it. And it'd probably take a day, hope it'll be a little cooler than it's today.
Yeah.
It's, I think it's worth.
Oh, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We gotta try something.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's worth doing, everybody's okay with that? All right.
Good.
Okay, some questions now, so I want to understand the water rate study, what would that have done for us? I mean, we're not at that step, we're gonna try this stopgap, but what would the water rate study have given everybody? What would it have told us?
So it was looking to identify the direction of flow of the water, where's it coming from, and approximate the value. We don't have a way to actually meter it to know exactly how much, but to estimate how much water is coming to the basin floor.
Right.
And help those engineers give us a design of size of pipe and spacing of the pipelines.
Okay,
Or piping isn't even if it stays muddy all through if it gets through July and August, it's still muddy like it is now. Piping is not going to be an option because you can't get equipment in there. So you'd have to look at the different means, which would be most likely like crushed rock, dig a trench and just fill it with crushed rock.
Right.
What I've heard is that they've done in the past is, I think usually you dig a trench from here to here, they would actually kind of go backwards. You start digging it this way and filling the rock in as you go. So you can drive your equipment on top of it.
gotcha,
And fill it in as you go.
right. Well, it's too premature for me to ask any more questions, I got some ideas and way too soon for that, but I think it's talking to people, I think that, last meeting. I don't think the citizens would have a problem spending money for something they really liked and they can look at it, and really be happy with, so that's. Putting that bug in your ear, we hope we don't ever get to that, and I understand that it's a drainage project, has to have drainage functionality, because KDOT's paying for drainage. There's some other options that are really ugly that just aren't gonna be feasible, so. Just kind of, maybe we can have a conversation in the next few weeks, we'll just see how this drainage goes, and then. I think they're just hearing from people, they'd be willing to do anything to make it look good. That's really what they are, I venture to guess they would be willing to let the city flood every 30 years if the park would look good. You know what I'm saying? I think they're at that point. And I heard that, hey, I'll stand back in the church. I had to do it in the early 70s and I'd be willing to do that. So they're kind of at that point. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Good step.
Yeah, good stuff. Go from there. All right.
Step one, anyway, get us started.
Yeah, get it going.
All right, appreciate you.
Michelle, I got a few thoughts. One, North Basin, it's ours now, the North Basin is, as far as KDOT is concerned.
Yeah, we're gonna have to defer to KDOT to really answer that question. All right. I wasn't involved in a lot of discussion to get us where we're at. To be
It really seems like that's,
I've heard that.
yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah.
My understanding is the city waived putting topsoil on it. I don't know that that implies that they've waived finishing the job that's there now, because it's not smooth, it's still running.
Yeah.
And there's some low spots. So I can give you my opinion, I'm not sure what the entity that's running this project actually says, to be honest, that's one of the stuff I wouldn't be.
We just want to know, once we get to that point, the city, if it's ours, need to get started seeding, doing something on the bottom, so we can. One get out of the NOI at some point.
Again, I was not present in the conversation, you know, what was gonna happen there,
Who would that, who with the city would that?
but I believe it was the administrator of KDOT that discussed.
Okay, we'll follow up on that there.
If there's gonna be senior or not, by the time, yeah.
And I'm assuming like as far as the mowing on the south side. It needs to be, I mean, I noticed the other day, but I'm assuming weed eating is gonna be the option. I don't think you're gonna drag mowers in there to try to mow it. Cause I noticed it needs to be, it's looking kind of rough.
Yeah, it's gonna look rough.
I know,
I talked to Calvin about it a little bit, yeah, they don't really have. Anything that he feels comfortable driving.
oh,
on,
absolutely,
so,
I get it,
um,
so,
Right.
So, yeah, they're gonna tackle what they.
Okay.
We,
Yeah, with the, as far as cost share goes, I'm gonna be thinking pushing towards the Third Street box maybe for the next question. We think that would be a worthy project for that.
If something that's needed, certainly.
Got that big of steel sitting on the street for a long time.
Area.
Get it better, right, or. Yeah. Yeah. So anybody else, John? It's a good meeting, thank you, John, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, any new business? No new business? Okay, department heads, recreation, I don't see Ronnie, golf course, streets, water, and sewer, fire. Chief, you have an update?
Got some, yes.
Ben?
Actually, I'm sitting down. We have 150. I said elsewhere.
Good news.
It just got back. It's gonna go back to Hayes on the 11th to be repainted with spots, there's a factory defects, but it's here. So yeah, right last week, they did discover some paint defects on the roof, so it's going back on July 11th for some touch to be repainted there at Lewis Ford, sorry, in Hayes. That's who it was delivered to. There's no cost to us for it. It's a Ford thing. It's something they'll take care of. So we're still gonna be able to upfit it, have our stickers and everything done to it, the process. In the meantime, we'll just get it back up there in a month or so. One of the things I want to discuss a little bit that I talked with one of their financial people at the dealership while I was there was the extended warranties on our current vehicles that we have, our 20 Durango we just purchased from the highway patrol, our 19 Ram that we purchased a couple of years ago, and then I also talked about the 20 Ram we purchased a couple of years ago as well. So, and I'm not asking for anything tonight, I just want to give you guys a heads up, something Mr. Deerdoff and I can sit down and look at some numbers at. So the Durango, when we purchased it, it was out of bumper to bumper warranty, the 3-year 36,000, it was out. It's still under the 6-year 60,000 mile warranty, but it's got 51,000 miles on it, and that just covers the powertrain. So we got about 9,000 more miles until it's out of powertrain warranty. To go a full blown bumper to bumper of 5 years, 75,000 mile warranty, 75 additional miles. We won't make that. We just don't put enough miles on, but we will get the 5 years. Would be a one-time cost of roughly, $4,115. And that's with the $100 deductible, and that would be bumper to bumper, just like we have from the factory. It won't do, of course, tires, shocks, brakes, stuff like that. It would cover all electrical, air conditioner, and the bumper to bumper powertrain. That's one thing that Mr. Deerdoff and I will sit down and look at the numbers, see if we have the money. And I also looked at the 2019 Ram. It's going to be going out of a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty in a month. In the middle of next month, it goes out of that. Still would have powertrain warranty for the remaining couple of years, but it would be out of the bumper to bumper. Put a 5-year, 75,000 mile warranty bumper to bumper on it, it's $3,755. And then I talked to him about my 20 Ram, that there's no reason to do it yet, because I still have a couple of years on my bumper to bumper. And then instead of the new Ford, it would be cheaper to do the extended warranty today, but it wouldn't be cost effective because we don't put enough miles on them. So he said we would just address that at the end of that 3-year, 36,000 mile if we so chose. So I never really put a lot of thought into the extended warranties, because I was kind of thinking after 4 years, we're going to push them down the road. Well, as hard as it is to get vehicles now, don't think that we're going to probably be in that boat. Even if we can get something, could we afford something? So we may be having these things in the law enforcement realm longer than initially anticipated. But even if we don't, our plan has always been to move them to the city shops. They're always gonna be in our possession, is just the thought process. So, you know, $4,100 to put extended bumper to bumper warranty in the Durango and $100 deductible isn't, I don't think that's too terribly bad for what we've got invested into it. And then, you know, $37.55 to do the 2019 Ram, and then we'd be looking at roughly the same price, I'm guessing, maybe next year on the 2020. So something maybe we budget for next year. We see if we have the funds to do this now. Again, those are just $100 deductibles in the event that we do have to do a claim on them. And that is factory warranty through Chrysler. It's not a third party. It's not a fly-by-night. That would actually be Chrysler on all three of those. So it'd be a factory warranty. So is that something you want me to look at and continue and work with Mr. Deere? I think we should. It's really not that expensive. It's way cheaper than I thought it would be.
We'll put something together and that would be 2 weeks from tonight, yeah.
Yes, and he said these prices were good till January 1 and recess first of each month.
Yeah.
And a lot of it based off miles. He said we're not gonna put enough miles to really change a lot. It may be a few dollars, but it's not gonna be, we're not gonna completely lose our backside on it. So.
Okay, very good.
So that's kind of what I talked about why I was there. So yeah, the truck's here, got a little work gonna be done to it, but it is here. So,
Exciting, yeah.
any questions or anything for me?
Think so.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Appreciate that. City Attorney, any comments?
I don't have any real updates for you. I originally started reaching out to Kevin, and then other things started happening. And then I reached out to him again, but we haven't been able to touch base yet, but I will have an update for you on that by the next meeting. I promise that I will get with him and give you an update on that, so.
Very good. All right. City Clerk, any?
It's a loaded question.
Yes.
We are functioning in the office. We're still missing quite a bit of software, but we were able to run payroll. We were able to do some accounts payable, stuff like that. We're learning, we don't have our meter system that we need. And so we're working through that with our software company and the IT company. But we're functioning in the office, so we're doing good.
You've done a super job. I mean, really, we owe Brittany big thank you. We'll talk more about it here in a few minutes.
So I got to go into like the IT company and cybersecurity eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
You might have.
Never want to go in that.
No.
Never.
So, anything else, Brittany, or?
No, that's it.
Okay. Very good. City Administrator.
Okay, well, let's kind of get on that topic there. I'll let you kind of fill in some of the blanks.
Yeah, I'm filling the blank spaces. John will do the overview and I'll just figure out what he hasn't noticed.
So last June 2nd, that's when we were made aware that we had a ransomware attack and basically shut down, our city server, both in City Hall, Police Department. And so we were down till basically Thursday. And I really, it is hats off to Brittany and Angela and Callie. They did a great job at this time. But so we got payroll done, got that out. So, we still don't really know what information's out there. And our insurance company, good thing we had insurance because through that process, we're on our team is a pretty high level law firm that deals with cyber attacks and a pretty high level forensic IT team that really high level, smart, good guys against the smart bad guys. And so that's how it works. But so right now they are actually, and I can't say a whole lot more. I really can't, but they are in communication with the folks and trying to ascertain really what data do they have. And of course, there's back and forth the ransom amount and what that is. And we need to see some files to know what it is to really determine if it's, real value. I mean, we just don't know that. And so we did a press release last week that they helped prepare with the right terminology, just to let the public know, what's going on. But again, we really don't have a lot of information on the data that they have. Should get that, but there's been probably 5 or 6 back and forth between the forensic team and the attackers. And it's kind of interesting to see those little text what they look like. It's really kind of interesting, but again, I can't really say enough about the city hall really kind of stepping up, because we were really going to stand still, and I'm standing around with hands in my pocket. There's not a whole lot I can do with this whole thing, but they got us back up, and so we'll see where, what the next days, how they unfold, and we'll go from there. But really impressed with the team that we've got. I mean, just hearing them on the phone, they're experts, and that's why we have cyber insurance. So, yeah.
Any other updates?
That's all I have to. Did you want to talk about the fire chief or?
You can, and then, yeah, if you want to talk about it right now.
I'll just quickly, I just heard that our fire chief resigned, and that's all I know. I did meet with Ralph, who is the assistant chief, and according to the bylaws, I thought maybe the council had to do something, but maybe not. And I'll look into that more, but I have no other details, but just people I'll be aware of.
Right.
So, yeah, that's all I did.
Very good, kind of great summary. So for the folks out there that don't know what ransomware is, basically bad guys usually spend several weeks just kind of reconning your system to find out how they can get in. They get in, they look around, they see what's of value, and then at some point they make a decision that they lock your system up, they lock the files up, and they make demands. It just depends on so many factors. Luckily, we have a good IT team that's helping us get back on track. Wilson Communications is working very hard to, without getting into too many details, just trying to get us functional. And, but we'll go backwards in time. We'll say, hey, what events could have led to this? What do we need to do in the future to make ourselves stronger and better able to deal with this? Because it doesn't mean it can't happen in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. It's happening all over. Clearly, we didn't want it to happen to us. And, but we have a great team. We have a group of people that they didn't get, what was amazing, it's very frustrating, they didn't get aggravated with each other. They just started to pull together. I got a call, I kept the voicemail from Brittany saying, can you come? We've got an emergency. And we had a 4-day period. The perfect strike zone was between when Rusty left on the Tuesday after Memorial Day and then the Monday after when John took over. But we were able to kind of cobble together between Melissa, Patrick, myself, and Brittany. I feel like we made the right decisions. There were some forks in the road that could have been made it pretty bad, and we put our heads together. So far, we're on the right track. So I just wanted to add that, what it was, and we'll certainly, when time passes, provide more information. We don't know everything yet, so every day we're gonna learn a little bit more. But we have luckily, we passed an insurance policy. I think it was in March, and that was the company we've used, and it's been. I think it was that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually the meeting, so I'm like, I don't remember that. I wasn't here that meeting. Wayne was.
Yeah.
He held the meeting. That was the meeting. So anyway, that's that. We covered Crissick Park on Wednesday. John and I, or else myself, will be working with Eagle Communications. We're going to produce a video. We're going to talk about the same things we're talking about tonight, maybe in a shortened version, more polished version. We'll put that on the city's website so that people can see us a little bit more in a simplified way. Not everybody watches these meetings. They don't read the newspaper. And sometimes the information doesn't get out there. So this should kind of make everybody feel better about the 3 big things going on: the city administrator search, Crissick Park, and the ransomware attack. But I think that will help. It shows an effort. It's not something we can do all the time, but certainly we'll have fun, this time. So it could be by the time they edit it and they put it out, it could be early next week, but that'll be on our Facebook page. You're welcome to share it. We'll do that Wednesday morning. So I think that's all I had. I think I jumped ahead of the council members. I'm sorry about that, but Tyler, do you have anything? No. Wade? Nope. Aaron?
I had some residents approach me, they were just asking if maybe we could do a little extra communicating. You hit on that a little bit, and whether we could be a little bit more vocal on Facebook or something, just on updates on projects and stuff around the city.
Sure.
Paul, might pass that along.
We're taking action, so that's good. We'll do more. It's no problem. Jessica?
Just thanks to Chief and Weigel for their help on Saturday. We had a 5K at Crissick Park. And so Jeff started us off with his sirens and we had a great time.
Carson?
Don't have anything.
All right, so with that said, We are gonna head into executive session. And we will make a motion to.
How much time do
What do you think?
I would say at least 7, and upon, yeah, because I think we're gonna need some time to discuss after,
Right,
and then we can always extend it, right?
7 to 10 minutes?
Right? We,
Yes.
we've got to stay in that time though. Yeah, we
If
say
you say
7.
what time you come back, we gotta come back. We go.
Yeah. All right, so you'll do 7 minutes and ended at, we're starting 6:07, ended at 6:15?
The executive session?
Yes, you wanted 7 minutes?
No, till 7.
Oh, 7, okay, I was saying, it could be 7 minutes, that's
7,
all right, that sounds,
until 7.
all right. Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, Brandon,
Sorry, I didn't finish. It's 7.
yeah. You wasn't the top, we could probably do it 7.
7.
Every officer that says that John's good, so it's gonna get done. So,
Mr. Mayor, we move that we go into executive session to discuss city administrator search pursuant to the personnel matters for non-elected personnel. etc. Oh, with the city council, city administrator, and city attorney.
Until 7 o'clock.
Until so.
I'll second.
all right, Mr. Stritchfield's made a motion to go into executive session with the city council, the mayor, city administrator, the city attorney until 7 o'clock. And Ms. Coates has seconded that motion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. We go into executive session.